once we have time. Well, okay.
This is the mushroom Manchurian. As I mentioned that you can use the filling whatever that you want.
What's it called? Mushroom how? What's the name of the filling?
Mushroom Manchurian.
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 Yes.
So what's inside? You know? What's inside?
It's a filling. The Indian, Chinese basically.
From Manchuria.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
You heard about it?
It's spicy. Yeah, Manchuria. It's very spicy.
Not that much.
Not that much,
Yeah.
because Indian food is a little bit spicy for me. I love it, and the taste is good, the flavor is great, but I must say I'm not used to eating so spicy. Okay, and with this one, what we'll do is we'll make some very small one, some triangles. Can you put them on the tray? Thank you. So obviously, for ciabatta, you have to adapt the baking time to the size of the item. The smaller, the less time. Make sure all fits on one tray. You can put more. Okay, that's the end of ciabatta. So you see that with one simple mix, we haven't seen the final product yet, but you will see when it comes out of the oven that we are playing a real authentic Italian ciabatta, and that with that dough, you can use it as a base. So obviously you can use it to sell as such, to make a sandwich with it, but you can also use it to add fillings inside and to sell it as a snack. Any questions about the ciabatta? So now final proofing, 20 to 30 minutes, depending, because it's at a long bulk proof. You see typically when you make a bread, for example, a toast bread, or it's short bulk proof and long final proofing. But this one, it's already been proofing in bulk, so you don't need a long final proofing because the dough is already well developed. Final item. The final item I want to show you. It's my favorite. It's the baguette. You all know that the baguette comes from France, right? And so do I. And it's a very typical bread. It is emblematic of bakery. Bakeries everywhere, even if people don't buy a lot of baguettes, they have baguettes inside because it shows that they can make it, okay? So now we're going to show you how to make them, how to shape them properly. And I will tell you the recipe also. These are baguette trays. We will bake in a convection oven. The ideal way is to bake on a deck oven directly on the stove. But here there is no stone in the deck oven. There is a resistance at the bottom, so I cannot bake directly on the stove. So we will use these, and the ones that are on the display have been made with these trays as well. I put a little bit of flour at the bottom. You can use oil as well, depending on what you like the most. And this is the dough. So the dough for baguette is a lean dough. There is no sugar, there is no oil in baguette. The recipe for this baguette, sorry? Baguette.
Baguette. Normal flour.
Lean. Normal flour, it's a lean dough. So the recipe for this baguette is for 1 kilo of flour, we use 20 grams of salt, 20 grams of fresh yeast. My colleagues have the recipes. They can send them to you by email or any way that's convenient for you. So 20 grams of salt, 20 grams of yeast, 10 grams of S500, and 600 grams of water. Okay. Now the water quantity will always be depending on the flour. The more gluten in the flour, the more it will be able to absorb. Okay? Normally, you mix, 15 minutes later you divide, 15 minutes later you shake, and then you proof for about an hour. But since there is no mixer in this room, I mixed in advance so we can use it. So I mixed. I followed the same process except instead of shaping, I put in the fridge. All right, now I'm going to show you the proper shaping of baguettes. Because everybody knows how to make a baguette, but very often when I see baguettes in stores, even in France, it's not proper. So what I do, I take my dough piece. And I see that the top is smooth, the underneath not so smooth. So I will keep the top to be the outside of my baguette. I flip it around, and then I remove some of the gas, but not too much. I don't want to remove everything, just a little bit. Okay, and then I will fold. But when I fold, I don't just fold. I also create some tension inside. And that tension I create because I want that when I cut my baguette, it springs in the oven. If I cut and it just goes like this, I'm not happy. I want a nice opening like this. I hope we will get it again this time. Okay? So I fold once, and then I will come and shove it inside. So I shove the dough inside, and I close with this piece of my hand, which is like a tool. You see, it's like a hammer. I don't use my fingers because my fingers would make it uneven. I use the hammer like this. And now it's already shaped almost. I have a little bit too much flour here. You don't want to work with too much flour, otherwise the dough doesn't stick. And now I'm just going to make long but gently. And what I do when I make that is that I keep my fingers on the table for one reason. Is that this way, when I keep the fingers on the table, I know exactly the thickness that I have. If I have my fingers like this, maybe I'm here, maybe I'm there. I don't know. If I have my fingers, I know exactly. Okay? It's like I'm playing piano. So these were scaled 350 grams because it's the official weight of a baguette in France, 350. Now you can do whatever you want. I think what's the most common? Here, for example, they make baguettes that they sell in the shops. They make for 100 grams. What's the weight that you do in your shops? 350. Okay. I know that many bakers in France are starting doing 320, but they realize that people don't see the difference, and if they can save 30 grams of dough for each baguette at the end of the year, if you make 1 million baguettes, it's a big difference. But it really depends on how you bake also, because customers see the final product. So if it baked for a long time, it loses more water. That's why you want to bake at a high temperature for not too long, so it keeps the humidity and it stays moist inside. Okay? Is anyone interested in shaping a baguette with me? No? Is there someone here who would like to do one? Come. No? Why not? Don't be shy, huh? I don't bite, and the dough doesn't bite either. Okay. So I show you a few more times. Can you start cutting the focaccia to let the people try it? And put in a basket? Because otherwise when I flip it, it sticks to the table. So if I put it here, then I don't have to put it on the table.